Hey guys, welcome to our AMA live stream. Glad
How's it going, everybody?
Hey,
first one in a while. So got some good alpha to drop today, and hopefully got some good questions lined up. So
gonna
be a good one.
Yeah. So as you've probably seen, the theme's changed up a little bit from our regular theme, and we're very excited to announce TeamToken, the new project we're working on, and really excited to get that out to the bomb community first. As you'll find out, we've got a ton of marketing planned with Ninja Promo, one of the top Web3 marketing agencies out there. So this is really quite a sneak peek before all of our marketing starts. We've got a huge bounty campaign starting August 1st, and then all the influencers and our paid ads and all our social traffic, all that starts about August 14th ahead of our pre-sale. So this is this is about the last time you'll hopefully see before the floodgates open. But yeah, unfortunately, there's not much you can do other than wait for our pre-sale, which is happening August 28th. So we're not available to purchase anywhere yet. And we'll have full details on the pre-sale pretty soon. We're still hashing out which IDO and which launchpad is going to be best with Ninja Promo and Solid Proof, which is our audit/KYC company. So we're working at lightning pace here to get everything ready in time for the NFL season, as you see on the screen. So
we do have a lot of socials up and running. So that is one thing you can do in the meantime. Join the socials starting on the 1st. We do have the bounty program campaign starting, which will basically have people join up, tweet about us, get the message out there.
Exactly, yeah. And so you can check out our social at the bottom of the page. You got our footer there with a link to all of our socials. But yeah, this is truly early days here. We're just getting started. But what you can see on the socials is actually some of the cool imagery that we can use, because obviously we're doing NFL and sports. So it's really easy to get really high caliber content with this, and really trying to, if you scroll down just a little bit more, look at that, like some of the cool posts we can put. And so let's get into what exactly TeamToken is here.
For those that one step earlier, maybe, of just how it even came about. Maybe that's a good place to start for our bomb community. Just right from the very roots, because I mean, it really all stemmed from, you coming to us with an idea.
Yeah.
Right. And
that's exactly it. So I was just kind of thinking, like a couple months ago, I guess, was like, what would be a cool way to integrate crypto with sports? And so just kind of brainstormed a few things, wrote some things down on paper, and I just kind of went to the best devs that I know and was like, guys, is this a good idea? What do you think? And obviously, it really just snowballed from there. And we were like, this actually has the potential to really capture an audience that, well, first of all, like the sports audience are really passionate. There's a huge market for it. It's in the billions in both just sports memorabilia, sports fans purchasing memorabilia, and they get really passionate about that. I gave the example of the Green Bay Packers, where they sell out share certificates to their fans, right? So people spend thousands of dollars just to have a piece of paper that says they're owner of the Green Bay Packers, but it doesn't actually do anything. Like, they don't get any revenue from owning it. They don't actually get anything other than their name on a piece of paper. And they sold, I think they raised something like $54 million from this. So sports fans are crazy. I'm one of them. Obviously, I've got my Raptors gear and my Jays gear from Toronto. I go crazy for sports. So I was trying to find a way to merge that in with crypto. And that's how we developed TeamToken. And we spent literally a good month just brainstorming ideas with this. And I'll address CC's question in a second here. But Yeah, so we spent a month really optimizing and figuring out how exactly this is all going to work. And maybe I'll just answer the question right now. So how do you plan on the likeness of sports franchise without acquiring the media rights? Isn't this a guaranteed lawsuit or like 50? So if you look at sports betting sites as well, they have the same, they use the exact same method. So we're not going to have any logos of sports teams. So you can use, for example, the sport and the city name, and anybody can use that. So it's the exact same if you go on sports betting sites. They're not using the logos. I'll say you're betting on like Major League Baseball, you're betting on Toronto,
Washington, yeah,
right? Yeah. So there, you'll notice even the imagery on the sports sites, they're going to have similar to what we've got here with the non-branded football players, unless you become like one of the big ones like BetMGM, Bet365. Those guys have acquired licensing, and we do plan to eventually have licensing with some teams to start actually using logos and have sponsorships and things like that. But for now, we're just using basic terminology. So, football team, and you're going to own the Buffalo team, right? So that's how you can get around some of the licensing of that. And of course, in terms of conditions, we clearly state that you don't actually own any of the real life Buffalo Bills if you own a Buffalo team NFT. So it's like very clear that it's just digital ownership of a real world sports team, and you get rewarded based on the real world sports team's performance.
I think a great comparison there is the metaverse, though, right? Because like the metaverse, you have something like 30 metaverses where you can buy a certain location on any of the metaverses, and you own it in that metaverse. You don't own it in real life. You don't own it in any of the other 29 metaverses, but you own it in that metaverse. So it's a similar premise to that, I'd say.
Yeah, and some of the first big like place metaverses, people were selling like you could buy the crypto.com arena, or you could buy the Eiffel Tower, for example. So you own that in this digital metaverse realm, but obviously there's no physical ownership towards the physical building. It's just in the metaverse. So it's a good point. That's exactly how this is going to be structured. And it's very clear that you're only owning the digital rights to this NFT, which rewards based on the team's real world performance. And so I guess I just summarized exactly what TeamToken does. The big premise here is we're trying to give fans a chance to really get deeper into the game by becoming digital owners of the favorite team. So there's going to be 100 NFTs for each team, which is quite scarce, as you can imagine. There's millions of fans for each team. They're going to be fighting over 100, let's say, Buffalo team NFTs. And so based on if Buffalo has like regular season wins, if they make the playoffs, if they win playoff series, if they win the championships, these are all structured into different reward tiers that they're going to then get team tokens as rewards for owning that portion of the team. So if you have 5 Buffalo team NFTs, then you have 5% of all the rewards that team generates for that year. And that's the basic concept. And as you can imagine, this really spreads out and has the potential to spread out into any sport and any league and any type of system. We've got some really fun ones down the road that we've got planned, but obviously for launch, we want to keep it simple. So we're going with the big 4 in North America, plus we're going to have some European football or soccer launching in January. And then also some individual sports, which is going to be cool. So having like PGA players, tennis players, and then a whole esports branch is going to be cool. And then potentially having
motorsports.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Motorsports. But then potentially doing some cool things with like reality shows. This is all down the road, but just things we've been brainstorming. So I mean, the system kind of works for almost anything you could think of. So having like Survivor kicks off, and you can own a team NFT of your favorite Survivor participant and see who wins. But obviously,
so the question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, obviously for the first part, we're going to work on the team sports, which is the easiest way to understand the system.
Great question here from All Content. How's the team performance measured for awards? Would you guys manually look at the performance, or is it automated? So that's kind of the beauty of having something big like sports. There's APIs for all of this. We're going to be able to easily automate it. Wins and losses, who makes the playoffs.
Well, yeah, just to go back to the basics, like, so
Yep.
teams are going to get paid when they win regular season games. They're going to get paid when they make the playoffs. When they make the playoffs, they're going to get paid when they win a playoff series, and they're going to get paid when they win the championship. So these are like definitive black and white things. So basically, we can easily get this data from an API and automate all of it.
Yep.
Different sports will work differently potentially. They'll have different.
Might be some tweaking, or might need to develop some certain things, but the plan is to have everything automated.
Either way, it's going to be a win-loss type of thing, or it's going to be like a top 3 or like whatever it might be, but it's going to be very black and white, like who is the winner. It's not going to be a judgment type thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and if you check the white paper, maybe Aaron, you could bring it up. I think it's around section 7. We really define. Yeah.
There it is. And you guys can get this from the website, or a quick link there is teamtoken.com/whitepaper. But
and you can see it's quite an in-depth white paper. We put a lot of thought into this, and I'm actually since there's 37 pages, we're now working on a light paper so we can TLDR this into 2 or 3 pages, because we know people don't want to read, but I know there are a lot of people that just want like every detail of the project. So you can see we've really covered everything here, including questions on like the licensing, liability, market potential. We've got a big section on tokenomics here, which we'll get into as well, which you can see that 30% there is allocated to the pre-sale that we're mentioning on August 28th. So that's going to be one of the first opportunities to get involved with Team NFT, other than what Aaron can probably mention with his P-Hub allocation down the road. But we'll get to that in a second. And then if you get down to next section, the reward system. So this right here is an actual example of how the NFL system is going to work. So you can see this is just for the initial NFL launch. We're going to probably charge around 500 team tokens per team. The better teams will be a little bit more expensive. The teams expected to perform a little bit worse are going to be cheaper, obviously, because we want you don't want all the good teams to get scooped up right away. But so this is exactly how this is a real life example of a team that could potentially win 12 regular season games, make the playoffs, win 4 playoff series, and win the championship. That team's going to earn 209,000 team tokens. And you can see the split there as to how everything actually gets allocated. And so that is the team's earnings. And then based on how many team NFTs you own, you would get a percentage of that. So if you owned 10, you'd get 10% of that for 20,900 team tokens. So everything's going to be automated, as Simon said. So as soon as a team wins, that's going to end up in the NFT as a claimable reward.
Yep. So, I mean, some of the things that excite me about this is just, the huge target market, right? Like you have passionate sports fans that just want to own everything to do with their team. So these might not even be people that care at all about crypto. They might not care about making money. They might not care about any of that, but there is an exclusive item for their team. They want it. You got guys that collect NFTs that don't do anything. Well, this is an NFT that does something that's also associated with the team. So you got NFT collectors that are also a huge target market. Then you got crypto guys that want to make money. Another huge target market, right? Then you have a lot of overlap between these that is like the real sweet spot, but we can get people from all these different markets. Yep. And, after running seniorage protocols for the last couple of years, the simplicity of this is just, it's really refreshing, right? You don't have to prepare a, hour-long spiel to explain the project to somebody. So that's really nice as well.
Yeah, and the big thing we're focusing on, and it's why we have a static mint price for the NFL, it's simplicity. So we want to be able, especially as influencers, we're targeting a lot of sports influencers too. So they're not going to necessarily have a crypto savvy audience. And so we want to make sure that they're able to explain to their audience, like, if you think Dallas is going to do well this season, go out and buy this NFT. And it's as simple as that. And you'll get rewarded based on their performance. And another cool thing is that you actually get rewarded perpetually. So if actually you scroll down just a little bit, Aaron, to the next section there. Yeah. Yep. You can see on the table there, what another cool system that we've done is that your first year NFTs continue to pay out at a lesser portion, obviously, on the next year, but your NFT is just going to continue to pay out regardless of what year you get. And this is the math behind that. So it's a great idea to get in early and have your NFT get full value on 2023, and then you start getting portion values on subsequent years as well.
So the other thing that excites me that I didn't mention is expandability of the protocol. So I know, like Marcus, you mentioned that, you know, somebody might own 5 or 10 NFTs, and that might be the case for the first season. But, you know, with only 100 NFTs per team, once, you know, this catches on, they're going to be extremely scarce, and people are not going to really own more than one. But the way that we're building this is that it's expandable, so that other protocols could basically build on top of ours to say, take a team NFT and split it up with whether they tokenize it or they just split it up into 100 smaller units so that their user base can get exposure to certain teams or have ownership in certain teams to benefit when the NFT goes up in value. That's all going to be possible just by interacting directly with our smart contracts, all permissionless. They don't need our permission to do that. They'll interact with it the same as if they were just buying an NFT from us. So I think that's going to be key in the future because, you know, even once this catches on, you know, probably all the players on the team are going to want one, and there goes half the NFTs right there. I mean, depending on the sport, right? So, you know, they're going to have to get broken up, and, you know, we're happy to have another protocol do that. And it's going to be easy for them to do.
And another thing I love is, well, what I really dislike is while you're watching sports now, almost every single ad you see on the field between games, the reporters are talking about it. It's gaming or gambling. So they're promoting betting on every sport. Basically, every play, every single thing that you see is all about betting. And so that is a huge advantage for TeamToken. Is, let's say that you get a Buffalo team NFT, right? If they lose, you still own that NFT. So the next week if they win next week, you're going to get rewarded. Or the next year, if they win, you get rewarded. But if I bet on Buffalo to win that game and they lose, I've lost all my money. So there's that. You're kind of betting with a team NFT, but you don't actually lose anything if your team doesn't perform as you expected.
It also keeps us away from being like an actual gambling site because we're offering digital ownership of the team token representation of a team that just happens to give you rewards when your team performs, right? So it's under a different, I guess, regulations or different scrutiny than, a gambling site.
Exactly. Is it inflationary?
Yeah. Is TeamToken itself inflationary by nature?
I'll just scroll back up to our tokenomics, but we can answer that question as well. But it actually is a fixed supply. So we have a set allocation for rewards in the future, but at the same time, we're also taking the team tokens that are used to purchase NFTs are the same team tokens that are going to pay out rewards as well. So we're actually not even able to mint any more tokens. There's no mint function on the contract.
Yeah, and so you'll see down, I don't want to analyze the white paper too much, but there's a whole section on how actually TeamToken is going to generate revenue. And so that's one of the huge things in any Web3 protocol is revenue generation. And so we've really put a lot of thought into that. And right there is the main system. So when people mint team NFTs, there is a 2.5% fee that's going to go into both treasury and rewards pool. Not the rewards pool for that league, but it's more of a bonus rewards pool where we can run promotions and things like that, where we're going to have a separate rewards pool just to run campaigns and say, let's say there's a big game like the Super Bowl, for example. We'll say, hey, whoever wins this, let's throw in another 10,000 team tokens just to make it more enticing for somebody to buy one of the team NFTs that are involved. Yeah. And speaking of buying the team NFTs that are involved, the marketplace transaction is going to be a huge revenue generation source for us. So 5% fee, which is actually cheaper than a lot of the projects on OpenSea. A lot of NFTs that get traded on OpenSea have 5% plus a creator fee of like 2.5% or so. So anything that gets traded on the marketplace, we're going to have a 5% team token fee, which will also go back to feed into the treasury and the rewards pool. So that's how the protocol intends to make revenue. And of course, the annual team NFT minting. So every year we're going to have 100 more NFTs per team. But then, of course, we're also going to be expanding. So we launched with three leagues starting September and October, and then by March we're hoping to have about 10 leagues going already.
Let's talk about how users of the platform can make money. There's just a lot of ways that can happen as well. For anyone who participates in the pre-sale, we're doing the pre-sale likely at a very low rate compared to what we believe the market cap should likely be. So there's going to be a ton of upside from pre-sale. But besides the pre-sale, if you get involved in a team NFT, you have a lot of different ways to increase the value of your position. TeamToken going up in value. Your team NFT is basically denominated in team tokens when you go to buy or sell it. So team token going up in value increases the value of your NFT. The team NFTs, as more people want them, they're going to become higher in demand. We're not producing any more of them. There's a fixed number of them, so people are going to be starting to pay more team tokens for each of the team NFTs. And then of course you have the rewards on top of that you get to claim. So a lot of ways to make money with this, and it's pretty simple and straightforward.
That's right. Yeah.
So I didn't want to skip that part about how people make money.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. So yeah, that's the project in a nutshell. We obviously have a ton of plans. One of the really cool thing is, which we mentioned, actually, Aaron, if you scroll down to our team section, 1 second, my dogs. So we got a really exciting team. Everyone's really passionate about the project, and one of the big things that's going to help us is we're all doxed. We're KYC'd on going to be KYC'd on IDO, so that's going to be a big benefit to everybody. But then go down to Ninja Promo there.
Further?
So that Ninja Promo is one of the best marketing agencies in Web3, and we've been working with them for about a month now already, preparing for our big push in August. And we're spending a ton on them. We're spending a ton on our paid, and we really think it's going to be worth it. So these guys have worked with like Bitcoin.com, some of the biggest projects in Web3, and they're really excited about the project too. So they're seeing some of the potential with this as well. And so from influencer campaign to some of the paid stuff we're going to have, they're going to take over our socials for a few weeks just to really ramp up the quality of our posts leading up to our pre-sale and leading up to our launch. So August is just going to be like an absolutely massive month, and we're really excited to work with Ninja Promo.
Actually, I think it's worth mentioning that, we have such confidence in this project that, basically no expense is being spared, right? Like we have high hopes and we have high expectations, and you guys can probably tell by the quality of the white paper. We have TeamToken.com. We didn't go for some other second grade domain. We got the best domain we possibly could. Really no expenses being spared just to make sure that this is really gets out as big as it possibly can. And that comes right down to the marketing firm that we chose as well. So I don't think we could have chose a better one.
So far,
really spend. So.
Yep.
Let's get the question. Go ahead, Simon.
Because this is somewhat equivalent to gambling, wouldn't it be illegal for NFT players, NFL players, or other athletes to get involved? Or can TeamToken be used as a way to get around that regulation?
So Marcus probably knows better than me, but I think just the fact that it's not straight gambling does 100% get around that. Like you're owning an NFT from TeamToken, right? That's what you're owning. That happens to.
I would be. I'm not sure if players could actually purchase it, so I wouldn't have them as a target market. But the players get around betting anyways. You always find the little scandals they do. But I don't think we're going to actively promote players to be using our site just to avoid the legality of that. But because they obviously they can't bet on anything that they're performing in or anything that even has anything to do with their league. So
if they want to tweet about us, they can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, exactly.
When merch? Oh, looking. No. Well, yeah, let's go. Looking good, Aaron. You want to show that off again? When merch?
Yeah.
Well, we have it open. It's looking amazing. This items are looking really good. We're synchronizing the merch shop right now. It should be up probably today or tomorrow.
It's not in any. Is it not in any state that I could show it yet? Or
actually, you could go to probably shop.teamtoken.com. That one should work. Although it's not connected,
this is not going to be the real shop.
No,
this is just the first one we set up that should still be working, I think.
Oh, it's redirecting.
The right URL shop.
Oh no, I think we installed the.
What'd you do, Simon?
This isn't working yet. I told you. I led with it's not working yet.
Yeah. We'll share the merch link later today or tomorrow. But I'm really excited because like literally 10 minutes ago during this AMA, I saw a little pop-up saying my order has shipped. So by the next time you hear from us, I'll be all in TeamToken swag as well.
Yeah. That's another great thing about the name and the domain that we got though as well, right? You just have a TeamToken shirt or whatever you have. People they Google that or they just automatically go to the .com and they found us.
Exactly.
Right? So,
this type of project really lends itself well to merch. Absolutely. Yeah,
I can't wait to get mine and start sharing it around. Especially with all the sporting events I go to. I was sitting front row at the Jays game the other day. I was like, man, I wish I had my TeamToken hoodie. Show that off.
Actually, just to rewind the conversation a little bit back to when you first brought the idea up, because I get pitched a lot of different ideas, right? And it's, so when someone thinks of an idea, they often are kind of blinded to like the faults of it because they're just so excited about, how great they think it is. But this is like one of the only ideas I've ever been pitched where I'm just like, I don't see any problem with that at all. It's amazing, right? Like it's just like because when you get pitched an idea, you have to try to find the problems that maybe that the original person didn't think of, right? And there was none, right? Nothing that I could think of anyway. So that's it's pretty incredible. And then just the more I heard about it, the better and better it got. So
yeah, love that. I mean, obviously we did have a couple things that we needed to improve as we were brainstorming, but I think what we're coming to production with is going to be really, really good. And basically like the similar thing. So I pitched obviously to Aaron and Simon just to get their ideas. They're like, okay, we want to work on this. This is going to be amazing. But then also I've been talking to some friends, some potential investors. They're like, yeah, just let us know once pre-sale goes. We want to get involved. And then of course, Ninja Promo I really love working with them because like we're obviously paying them to be our agency, but like we showed them a few things and they're like, no, this is crap. Like you got to do better on this, or we don't want to show it. I'm like, I really appreciate that they're honest with that, right? Like we showed them a webpage, you're like, no, this webpage, you got to improve this. So it's awesome to have companies like that. But with regards to the actual idea, I mean, they had the same concern right off the bat was with licensing. He said, yeah, we're not going to have any logos. We can get around it with that. And they're like, okay, this is perfect. Let's go with it. Aaron can address this dislike here.
My only dislike is ETH mainnet, but understand that that's where the big boys play in terms of NFTs.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of capital.
Any way to keep the gas low, Aaron. Yeah, I know a huge focus.
I mean, there's a lot that we're doing, in terms of the design of the smart contracts and everything to keep gas as low as possible. Keeping in mind that it is on ETH mainnet. So where typically I've always developed smart contracts on buying a smart chain or networks where gas wasn't really that big of a factor. So when you look at a protocol like Uniswap or something like that, like they go to extreme measures to keep the gas costs as low as possible. So that's I'm not going to say I'm going to go to the same extremes as that because I'm not quite as skilled as that entire team of developers, but we're going to do as much as we can really to keep gas costs down. But as I mentioned earlier, we're planning on pricing the pre-sale very competitively. So there's a big runway for pre-sale investors to 100x relatively quickly realistically. So hopefully ETH gas is not really a problem for anyone that's involved in the pre-sale. You'll be happy to spend that gas money.
Yeah, and I've already found, I mean, obviously since they went to proof of stake, the gas is substantially gone down. Because I remember my first project that I even invested in, I'm trying to think, it was like 2017. I spent $430 in gas just to add liquidity to that project. And then that was just crazy. I couldn't believe how expensive ETH was. And then like just sending somebody tokens would be like $20 or $30 in ETH.
Yeah.
So
now it's like $1 or $2.
Yeah, exactly. If you get it off peak, you can send somebody tokens for $1 or $2. So it's substantially cheaper now.
Yeah, you can do a swap for like $4, $5 if gas isn't high at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I do see the concern though, because like obviously right now the Ethereum price is fairly low compared to where we expect it to be, and activity on the network's fairly low compared to what it will be in the bull run. So yeah, gas will no doubt be more expensive at that time. But
what about? I hope I'm not talking too soon on this, but I know you were looking into some open source projects from OpenSea. Do you think that's going to be able to help at all?
Too early to say, but if there's any way we can do that, then yeah, we'll definitely do something like that.
I know they've optimized a lot of things.
So yeah, what Simon's referring to is it's called Seaport. It's basically what I don't know if OpenSea created it or not. I think they did. They basically wanted to address this issue of gas on Ethereum. So they basically made a way to pretty much do the vast majority of what you need to do in terms of trading NFTs, selling NFTs, listing NFTs. They made as much of it gasless as possible, where you just sign a message. I think the only gas that you need to spend is the initial approval that allows them to have access to the NFT in your wallet. That is a gas transaction, but beyond that, I believe it's all just signing messages. And so we're going to see if we can utilize Seaport as much as possible to prevent our users from having to pay gas.
Yeah, love it. And yeah, we like another huge conversation we had was, do we create our own chain for this or a layer 2 on Ethereum for this? But the main, like that obviously just negates gas completely. But the main thing that we want is simplicity and being the main network for MetaMask. It's just so easy to explain to people how to get TeamToken, how to buy the NFT with Ethereum. As soon as you start getting into any other chain, even BNB chain, people start having issues with it. I know trying to get people to buy anything on BNB, I had to explain how to get that. So yeah, we do have plans down the future, potentially once TeamToken becomes more popular, to have like a layer 2 on Ethereum to prevent gas. But for now, we're just going to minimize gas costs as much as possible on Ethereum.
And actually, speaking of like app chains, like this is an actual project that would have made a lot more sense for Anchor solution that Bomb had with Anchor. Anchor solution was horrible for our use case. It actually would have been an all right solution for this when this grows bigger. But yeah, no, we just want to stick with a big popular chain for simplicity. And
is TeamToken hiring? And is Rob not involved in with this project?
Yeah, we've parted ways with Rob a little while ago, so he's not involved.
Not involved in this project. With regards to hiring, we're definitely hiring. We actually have an entire allocation of tokens for future team members because we're going to need a lot of support once we have additional leagues. We're definitely going to need more people involved. For now, though, we're basically paying entirely out of tokens. So that's, people that believe in the project, we're working just for token allocation at this point, right? So, I mean, if you're interested in something like that, you can reach out to any of us on Telegram or Discord. But yeah, with
that's
regards to
segue. Yeah. So I'll take over from there. So, so I had decided about a week ago that with my portion of the team allocation, I'd be using a big chunk of it to feed P-Hub buybacks. Big reason I did that was because, obviously I've always said that if you want to have your interests align with my own, just buy P-Hub and forget about it type of thing. I know a lot of people that, obviously really believed in me and Bomb and what we were doing, really loaded up heavy on P-Hub. And, obviously I appreciate that greatly. And the last thing in the world I want to do is let down people who, bought P-Hub to support myself and the company. So, so 1% of the entire total supply, which is a pretty big chunk of my allocation, is going straight to buy back P-Hub tokens. So, with what we expect this project to do, I don't think $1 billion market cap's out of the equation. Do the math on that, right? 10 million in buybacks at $1 billion.
Just to show where he's getting billion from, there's the only other like sports related crypto that I've heard of was Chili's, and they don't have like an ownership, anything to it. It's more just like a token that esports people can use amongst themselves or similar, something like that. But their market cap is 700 million. So yeah, that's kind of our goal there, is just do something similar to what they did, but do it better with actually having NFT ownership of teams, which is going to be the big game changer for us. And just to address the hiring part as well, it's part of the reason you do an agency at the start is the fact that when we find we need something else, so we needed somebody to do some of our PR for us, or we need somebody to handle social for the next month. Agency is amazing for that. We can just pay them, and they have professionals that do this all the time that will like do top tier quality for us. And so we're not holding back on any expenses, obviously. So that's kind of our plan until launch, and then after launch, we definitely will need some more full-time help.
Yeah, it's amazing how helpful like having a team like Ninja with this is. It's like, you know, we had a plan to have a coming soon page, and we would have gone ahead with that until, you know, the professionals heard the idea or saw it, and they said, "You're not doing that, guys." Right? So, but that's what we need, right? They have the experience, so you know, we're more than happy to take the constructive criticism, and we all just want it to succeed. So we're happy to, you know, switch up things to how they tell us to do it. So, yep.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's TeamToken. So we're going to be on for a bit more as Aaron talks OG Bomb. But in the meantime, if you've got any questions on TeamToken at all, feel free to come in. We can still jump back to answer those questions as Aaron's talking OG Bomb update.
Did we miss any questions here? And maybe we should give people just a minute just to.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, yeah, if anybody's got questions, now's a good time to do it. And then also our channels are open. So you'll see on teamtoken.com, you can find our Telegram, our Discord. We're going to be growing pretty exponentially over the next month, but we'd love to have you out there showing support in the channels. And obviously follow our socials, retweet anything that you see from TeamToken.
Yep. And actually, just to be really clear about something, like obviously like Bomb Money was my project. Like this is Marcus's project. So just everybody's clear on that. And, you know, I'm actually really excited about that, which, you know, people might be confused as to why, but, you know, I really like being a dev, right? That's what I do best. I, you know, like coming up with great ideas. I've been awake for 4 days, and that's, you know, what I like doing. And, you know, I didn't have, you know, some of the skills that are, you know, optimal to have to run a business. I mean, not to say that I can't do it, but, you know, I think Marcus is a great person for the job there. And I think it's, you know, for me to be able to focus where I shine makes a lot more sense. So just to get that out there.
Well, while we wait for any questions, and kind of in between OG Bomb, there was a question kind of about the ecosystem. Any updates on the in-house bomb bridge?
So I've spoken with our talented developer who built it, and he said that it should be quite simple to add. So we have not done it yet, but I will attempt to do what he told me to do. Could probably do that this afternoon or early tomorrow. Should probably make sure he's around though, just in case it doesn't go as planned. But yeah, it should be fairly straightforward. Mm-hmm. According to him, I just throw the assets in the database and we're off for the races, but it's probably going to be a couple more steps than that.
Little tweaking here and there, but I remember when he built it, that was kind of one of the things we were aiming for, simplicity and adding more further down the line. So
yeah, the only exception to that is, you know, basically having bomb and wrap bomb on bomb chain. It has to handle native, right? So then we also have to handle, like, I don't think Anchor sent us the assets yet from the bridge that they have. So we need to get that sorted out too. So OG Bomb time.
Yeah.
So, and as always, feel free to ask any questions along the way. Where do I begin? Basically, this was one of those up for 4 days and then had a crazy idea that I shared in our Microsoft Teams chat, and happened to not be so crazy. I basically just said, okay, the bomb price got hammered so hard. Everybody loves OG Bomb. What do we do? Well, I said, you know what? We could just launch a couple of new contracts, change the peg to 1,000,000 to 1, be super easy to peg. You know, we'll have a boardroom that's printing consistently. You know, people will be happy, and, you know, we'll have another share token that feeds P-Hub buybacks. P-Hub holders are happy. You know, give people something to play with while we build out TeamToken. You know, basically OG Bomb was, hate to say it, was almost dead. Like, the peg was so low that there was almost no chance of it coming back to peg. So we don't think that we really lost too much by doing any of this, but we think that there's a lot to gain by doing this. We are using the same bomb token as we've always used. The only new token is B2 share, which is basically B share 2. So we decided against a migration just because migrations in the past have always turned out disastrously. So apologize to any of the B share V1 holders. Those probably won't have any use ever. But on the bright side, we should have a fairly strong start here on a OG bomb. We're doing a couple of things quite different this time around. Well, for one, obviously we changed the peg drastically. So we did devalue bomb essentially by a factor of 100. So it's now 1 million bomb for 1 BTC instead of 10,000. And another huge change that I'm actually really excited to see how it plays out is we did away with the farms. And this is, kind of, we got the inspiration from Ohm. And of course we had BOEM money on bomb chain. But essentially the only way to get our share token is going to be to use bonding. So up here, you'll see bond for B2 share. And you'll see I've already actually got some bonds kicking here. But so essentially what you can do here is, and again, this is the only way to get B2 share. So, and of course, as most of you probably know, the share token is what's needed in order to get freshly minted bomb out of the boardroom, which will roll over for the first time in just under 2 days. But back to the bonding, because it's a little bit complex for anyone that's not familiar with it. Basically, what happens with bonding is you're basically giving the protocol your liquidity, and in exchange, we're giving you a reward token, in this case, B2 share, and we're giving that to you at a discount, although you can't claim it right away. There's a vesting period. All of these details are subject to change based on what's working, what's not working, or how we can optimize things. There's a lot of wild ideas, or some of them not so wild, related to different ways that we can do this with different parameters and different quote tokens, or like different quote tokens, basically the token that the user would give the protocol in order for us to give out the B2 shares. A lot of different options there. So just some random ones. We could potentially integrate like a V3 of PancakeSwap, or we definitely could do like a balancer type pool where we have numerous assets, or we have like an 80-20 bomb, like the bomb maxi that we used to have. We could have single tokens that we use for bonding as well. Like there's really no limit to what we could do with this. So this is how we're starting out, something very simple. Just B2 share BNB, which is obviously our liquidity on the B2 share token, and good old bomb BTC BLP, which is the exact same one that was created the day that I created bomb money back in November 2021. Exact same LP. So as you can see right now, there's a 35% discount on the bomb BTCB and a 44% discount on the B2 share BNB. And let me explain to you exactly what that means. So while we wait for this to load, it's not the fastest sometimes. Okay, there we go. So I want this guy to load too, but okay. So this is showing you that the current price of a B2 share is $1,001 US. Now, the number here is basically the important one. What this means is this is how much money worth of bomb BTC BLPs you would need to deposit in order to get one full B2 share bond. So as you can see up here, I have 0.09 almost B2 shares that'll be available for me to claim July 29th. So if I wanted to have a full B2 share to be able to claim, I'd have to put $646 worth of LPs in. So now the risks involved with this is that obviously the B2 share price can change. So this one has a 3-day vesting period. The B2 share one, just because that's more volatile, I put a 2-day vesting period. We could change that to 1 day. We could change it to a week. We can tweak it any way that we, feel is going to work best for sustainability of the project. But I think that's a pretty good starting point. So for anyone that wants to get involved, basically the only way to get B2 shares for the boardroom is through bonding. and we have quite hefty discounts right now. So what changes these values? There's a couple different things that can make these values change. So for one, obviously the B2 share price. So as B2 share increases in value, assuming that the LP price stays the same, the discount would grow and grow and grow because you're getting a better and better deal. And vice versa, if the share price drops, then the discount would shrink until the point where it could potentially be a premium instead of a discount. The LP price can change as well, right? Because the bomb BTCB doesn't really have all that much to do with B2 share price. There's not as much correlation there as there would be, say, between the B2 share BNB and the B2 share token. Those would be more correlated because obviously B2 share is one of the two tokens in that pool. So, but yeah, no, we think that the settings are we think that they're aggressive for now, like in terms of getting people to participate. These are pretty heavy discounts. Also, another thing that will change these values is right now, if a bunch of people jump in and grab these bonds, the price is going to go up with every single purchase, and that's intended so that they basically get purchased until the point where the discount's not worth doing this anymore. Then, as time passes, the price will decay down to the point where it is worth doing. But the thing is, with this being the only way to get B2 share, it's potential that people might do this even if it's a premium. Because, well, I mean, I guess you could buy an open market, but buying an open market, you're gonna increase the price as well, right? So there's gonna be some fun, math or figuring out to do in order to get that figure out what works best for you. But yeah, I mean, anyone that wants to get involved, a pretty simple way is just throw some bomb BTC BLPs in here and pick up your B2 share in a couple of days and throw it in the boardroom and have fun like the good old days with OG Bomb.
Nice. Yeah, it's funny when we understand how this works, but when you're explaining something like this, and then that's part of what we're going for with the simplicity aspect. We're trying to get somebody completely new to crypto to understand basically anything on this page would just be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some of the issues you run into in the DeFi world is like people in DeFi understand everything that's happening here, but for new people, this is like another language.
Well, actually, while we got everyone here, I've mentioned it in the communities a couple of times, but for right now, I'd highly recommend using PancakeSwap to do any of your swaps, especially if you're trying to buy or sell P-Hub or buy or sell Bomb, or even B2 share, because a lot of these tokens have V2 and V3 liquidity. So PancakeSwap is going to route perfectly over both pools. I'll show you an example real quick. Just to show you like the extreme difference. Because if you're using Bomb Swap for, say, buying P-Hub, you're going to get a significantly worse rate if you're buying a large amount. Let's just look at P-Hub, for example. You're buying 20 units of P-Hub, let's say. You can see here it's going two separate routes. This is actually going 90% through V3, right? I don't know if you guys can see that, but going 90% through V3. So if you use Bomb Swap.xyz, that site is not aware of these V3 pools right now. So you would be buying it exclusively through V2, which means that you're going to get a worse rate, and then a bot's just going to come in and equalize the price, and they're the ones that are going to make the money. So, yeah, essentially for those tokens, until we implement something for Bomb Swap that can take advantage of both types of liquidity pools, I'd highly suggest using PancakeSwap. And we do, we already had that going for Bomb Chain. This is the Uniswap V3 interface. So there's just one small issue with the BNB side of things that I didn't really have the time yet to figure out, but this should be working fine. We already have our own smart order router. We have all these things. All the complex stuff is already figured out. It was working perfectly on Bomb Chain. So I just got to basically rig it up to work with the PancakeSwap contracts, and that's about it. Then you'll be able to do all your stuff on our site. Which the advantage of that is, like with our site, we can control the routes, right? So with a lot of our tokens, they're paired with Bomb, but PancakeSwap doesn't know to check Bomb as an intermediary for your trade. So that's why we always said go to Bomb Swap, because Bomb Swap does check all those intermediaries that it needs to check, especially for more exotic stuff like that might have two intermediaries that PancakeSwap wouldn't check, right? So those are just things that you'd never be able to get a decent rate on through PancakeSwap. So when we implement this, you'll have the best of all worlds, where you'll be able to route through numerous different pools, and you'll also the front end will have the knowledge of which intermediaries it should be using or checking to get you the best rate. So that should be up and going at some point in the future. It's not a massive priority, but it's something that I do want to get done.
Mm-hmm.
It should be fairly close. Seems like one small thing I missed is causing it to not work. So, but yeah, that's all I wanted to show in terms of that.
You have a little question in the chats. What are your plans for BitBomb ecosystem?
Don't really have anything further to report than what's been said in the announcements. I'd love for BitBomb to become healthy. It just that at the moment we have, obviously TeamToken going on that we're all very excited about, and we're, really happy to be able to bring to the bomb community, the first people to hear about it. So that's what we're going to be working on in the immediate future. For a more detailed answer, I'd recommend probably reading some of those Medium articles that I wrote, where I really go into detail about, logic behind some of the decisions and, thoughts on seniorage protocols and, how we want to, best prepare, our loyal community for the upcoming bull market, right? Like it's, if, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, where seniorage protocols haven't been looking great ever since, obviously Bomb Money being the first tomb fork, having 2,000 forks come after, probably a lot more actually, at least 2,000. It's a saturated market. It's one that the only people that use seniorage protocols are the ones that abuse them now. It seems, for the most part. It's probably overgeneralizing, but it's a very, the landscape's been pretty difficult to navigate lately. So we're not turning them off. We're not, we're not doing anything crazy like that. But at the same time, we want to position our community where they can best, make as much money as possible in the upcoming bull run. So we think TeamToken is a great way for us to accomplish that for everyone.
Twitter AMA also had some great info, kind of a follow-up to the Medium articles.
Excellent. Well, agree with Michelle here. Let's go TeamToken.
Not enough sports. Where's my motorsports? What's it
curling? Yeah, I haven't thought of curling. Thanks for adding curling and bowling.
Yeah.
She gets a cut now. But we are your loyal community, and you're basically launching a new seniorage protocol. Can you maybe rephrase that just so I can kind of know how to address that? Like, I'm not avoiding it, but I just don't know how to respond to that. Like, you're our loyal community, so we're trying to bring the very best of the best to you guys so that you can best position yourself for the future.
I think you might be talking about OG Bomb.
Yeah, so OG Bomb is, while it is somewhat a new seniorage protocol, it's still the same bomb token. It's more like everybody loves OG Bomb. That's been, very obvious for a long time now. So basically OG Bomb was essentially dead with its peg. So this is just a couple of new smart contracts launched just to bring some life back to OG Bomb, everybody's favorite seniorage protocol.
That and a cool way to build up some protocol owned liquidity.
That as well. And, another revenue stream for P-Hub. So, I've always said, if you want to keep your interest aligned with mine, just hold P-Hub. So everything that we're doing now is all going to benefit P-Hub greatly. So the 100,000 P-Hub calculations are back on track. Not financial advice. But yeah, if I could answer that any more clearly, let me know. Or if you can phrase that differently, I'd be happy to answer. Okay. So yeah, but the OG Bomb was migrated to BitBTC, which is also dead. So we're pretty much left out high and dry. I see what you're saying, but pretty much every seniorage protocol across all of crypto is in the same boat. And I'm not making excuses, but that's just the case. So
I think we're trying to make a great cup of lemonade.
Yeah. So, and Bomb was, fractions of a penny when I announced this, right? And people kept selling instead of buying. I was buying, but, it's, if, Bomb has done a 10x since, there's definitely opportunity to enter that trade. There still is opportunity to enter that trade. So, not sure what else to say on it. I mean, if you want me to be more detailed, feel free to give me a more detailed question. Always trying to look out for the community, and it's very difficult in these times when just some of the things that we've built for the community just haven't panned out. Bit Bomb was not something I was really too keen on doing. It just CZ Pegs just did so great out of the gate that everybody said, we need a tax on Bomb. We need a tax on Bomb. We did a vote. The vote won that we should create Bit Bomb. This is not my decision. This is none of our decisions. This is the community's decision. It stemmed from a community suggestion. It passed by a community vote. I'm sure, I know I can speak for myself. I got horribly screwed on that migration, right? Like it's, I didn't want to think about it, how bad that migration screwed me, right? And probably screwed everybody, right? But, I'm not going to blame the community for voting it in, right? That's just how it happened, right? It's unfortunate. We learned from our mistakes. And, one of the big lessons there is that, sometimes you need to wait for things to settle in a little bit, right? So CZ Pegs was so fresh that it came out so hot out of the gate, but we needed to just, let things cool down a little bit. And, we ended up voting the taxes off the CZ Peg tokens, right? So the whole reason to launch Bit Bomb was to put tax on Bomb. And then we ended up getting rid of the taxes off CZ Pegs after. With, again, all community votes for all this stuff. So, yeah.
Speaking of migrations, I'm going to make an announcement later. I've been kind of running around like a headless chicken, but we did have a list of a lot of people that migrated a bit late from Bomb to Bit BTC. We were able last week to reimburse everybody. Check your wallets. The Bomb should be there. Send out an official announcement later.
I hate it when, my whole goal, operating protocols is so that everybody can make money. So obviously when anybody loses, it's, the exact opposite of anything that I had planned. But, especially during a bear market, especially when, seniorage protocols are, so difficult to operate with everything that happened to Terra Luna and just, the whole environment of crypto in general. Just some of it can't be avoided. I mean, the only way to avoid it is to not run a protocol, really, right? So, I apologize for anyone that lost money. I mean, I lost my shirt. A lot of people lost their shirt. I learned a lot of lessons. Hopefully everyone else learned their lessons as well. And let's make sure that next bull run, we all make a ton of money and we keep it through the bear market.
Yeah.
Been quite some positive crypto news coming out in the last few weeks. So hopefully we're looking closer and closer to a bull run.
Oh yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Again, I'm not trying to push that subject away. Like if you want to keep asking questions about that, I'm again more than happy to answer. I mean, I wish I had a better answer for you, but I will keep answering questions.
And if anyone has anything else, any other questions about TeamToken as well, thank you all for great questions so far.
Looks like we might be done.
Oh.
Not the most encouraging, but all right. We tried. Sorry, man. All right. Well, on that note, hope everyone's as excited about TeamToken as we are. And, I think OG Bomb is going to be fun. It's Bomb is a couple pennies, so it's not too late to get involved in that. Not too many people have started bonding yet. So to put Bomb BTCB and get some B share or B2 shares at a discount, it's not a bad idea, in my opinion.
Combining sports and crypto is a great market. Absolutely. About a year ago, I tried launching a fantasy league for the 2022 World Cup with NFTs. I got 3 cease and desists with my first 2 weeks of marketing. All right. But you guys are smarter than me and look like you have a good plan. So I'm bullish on TeamToken and P-Hub.
Yeah, I know Marcus can answer better than me, but I'll just say that in terms of the licensing and getting in trouble for that sort of thing, that's one of the first things that we would have done, in terms of due diligence, right? It's there's way more in-depth things that could have caused us issues that we've also looked into and made sure that are not issues. That's that's like the huge, massive one that would have been looked into first, right? So we've done a lot of research to make sure that we're not going to run into any issues, and obviously that would have been an obvious one if it would have been a problem.
Yeah, I think the World Cup would have some issues if you use the term World Cup. Same with like football, you can't use
Super Bowl.
You can't use the word Super Bowl. You can't use NFL playoffs. There's certain things that they have trademark and license. Obviously, the team names, team logos, can't use any of that without the licensing. So yeah, just being careful on what you actually put out on the marketing material. It's funny, I did see your exact idea there with World Cup and NFTs. I know Jerry V did that, did an NFT on World Cups, which is funny. But I don't know if he actually got permission to do it, but he was offering like, basically you get any country's NFT, and if they win, you got tickets to something. But yeah, so he did do something similar to that.
Well, speaking of tickets, I mean, we didn't really talk much about extra things that we could do for Team NFT holders. I mean, I guess this video has already been going on for quite a while, but there's all kinds of extra things that we can do for Team NFT holders, and to incentivize buys or to incentivize more active trading, and a lot of cool stuff we got in the works there. But we could go on for hours just about that alone. So
we'll have more. We'll have more AMAs, and we'll be able to share a lot more info.
Yeah, because we've also got plans for rewarding people for staking TeamToken, and having draws for tickets and special exclusive events for whatever team NFTs they hold. So yeah, there are definitely a lot of plans down the road.
A community element to it, a social element to really keep the users engaged on our site. So,
hey, Louis Selena, how is Bombridge coming after Anchor not there anymore? We did go over this, but quickly, we are looking to expand our own bridge to have all those tokens. So if there's any tokens you guys have left on BombChain, we'll be offering soon bridging capabilities within our own bridge.
Yeah, so real quick, what has to happen for that to work is we have to just add the assets to our bridge. We have to test it, and we also have to have Anchor send us all the assets that are in their bridge, because those are the assets that we need to return to users. So until Anchor does that, we also can't allow bridge outs from BombChain just because we don't have the tokens.
But it's underway, so that's we do have a plan. Don't worry.
All right, well, gone for about an hour. So yeah, if anybody has any other questions, do drop by any of our communities, and we're always there. We're always active, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and you guys have a great rest of the day, and go TeamToken.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys soon.
Take care, guys.